Dear colleagues, welcome to today's webinar. My name is Alice Caravani. I work here in the FAO Restoration Monitoring team in Rome, and I will facilitate today's session. Welcome, everyone. I can see there is quite a large number of participants, which is great. The objective of today's webinar is to provide you with a very practical demonstration on how to integrate data from different platforms into the FERM. Gregory Obayan from FAO will first present the FERM registry, and this will be followed by a presentation from Stefano Giaccio from FAO with a practical demonstration of the API. And then we will open the floor to all participants for a 15 minutes Q&A session. So please take note of your questions, but you can also use the chat to ask any questions at any time. Yes, and big thanks to our colleagues from the Asian Center for Biodiversity who are kindly sharing, helping with the organization of this webinar and sharing the screens with the various presentations. And at the end, they will provide some closing remarks along with colleagues from the Regional Center for Mapping of Resources for Development, RCMRD. Okay, so I think I can now, we can now move to Gregory's presentation. So Gregory, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. Can you share my screen, please? Can you see my slide?
Yes.
Yes, great. Thank you.
Thank you. So the idea of this first presentation is just to introduce you to the Framework for Ecosystem Restoration Monitoring Platform. And the most important is that the FERM is the official framework for reporting of progress linked to the Target 2 of the GBF, but also linked to the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. Is the two main objectives of the platform, the FERM, to support the reporting of the UN Decade and also the Target 2 of the GBF. Next, please. And for this, the firm provide a different type of tool. The first is a registry of restoration initiative with the idea to provide information about your initiative and also the good practices linked to your initiative. The firm also provide information about a tool such as a geospatial tool to visualize restoration data. And also the firm provide a search engine that shows good practices and initiatives on restoration. And finally, the firm platform also provide a dashboard under development with the idea to provide analytics and compile restoration data at the global level. And you have the links to access to the firm platform. And you also scan the QR code. Please, the next. Most important is that the firm is for everyone involved in restoration, including, for example, national and local government, NGOs, and civil society, or also IPLCs, and also research and academia. So the firm is for everyone involved in restoration. And most important is that to register in firm, you have two main type of user. You have your normal user and you add user with admin right. For normal user, the idea is to join institution or submit a new institution and then have the possibility to create a restoration initiative in the platform. But for admin user, we have the possibility to upload directly your initiative using an API developed by our team, and my colleague Stefan will present you in detail about this API. Next slide, please. And in the FERM registry, the idea is to document your restoration initiative by providing, for example, general information about your restoration initiative, the name, the title, the area of interest of your restoration initiative, the outline indicator used to track restoration progress, with disaggregation by ecosystem type, protected areas, IPLC, and also we have the possibility to select different indicators to track the effectiveness of restoration at the level of your project. So now I will share with you a short demonstration on FERM, and my colleague will present you the IPA in the next. So now I will share my screen quickly just to give you a short presentation about the platform. You see my screen? It's okay, Alicia. It's okay for my screen. You see my screen? It's okay, Alicia?
Yeah.
Yes, we can see it. Thanks.
Thank you. So as I said, in the firm we have the registry, the visualize tool, the search engine, and now the idea is to go to the registry, and normally when you access to the registry, you have the possibility to create new initiative to provide information of your restoration initiative. And now I have created this one as a test to facilitate the demonstration. So the idea is the normal process. This is the normal process when you register your initiative in firm. To go to the registry, create your initiative, and then start to provide information. The first is about the general information about the restoration initiative, the title, description, the photo if you have, the restoration status, the stating and any year of restoration, the type of restoration, and the objective, and also the link to the SDG, and add information about the point of contact for your restoration initiative, and also the organization that implement the initiative. And then the idea is to provide information about the boundaries, the shapefile, or the polygon of your restoration initiative. You can add one polygon, two, or all different polygon if you have, for example, more than 2 or 3 different areas of interest. The idea is to provide the site of your restoration initiative, the start year of restoration implementation in this area. And finally, when you have provided the different limit of your polygon of your restoration of interest, the idea is to provide information about the restoration commitment and also the status of the total area under restoration. And in the platform, you also have the possibility to identify the different type of ecosystem included in the limit of your polygon, and have the possibility to disaggregate the different area based on ecosystem type, protected areas, OCM, and also IT territories. And then after this step, the next step is to provide information about the site level indicator used to track the effectiveness of restoration. The platform provides, for example, different type of indicator. You could select one or add custom indicator if you have. And finally, the idea is based on the indicator you have previously selected. No, the idea is to provide information about the value of year corresponding to your indicator you have previously identified as relevant to track the effectiveness of the restoration at your site level. So it's a short demonstration. And finally, the platform has also the possibility to use Earth Map and to start implement some quick analysis about, for example, the climate of the zone of your polygon, the biodiversity, and different other indicator to have a quick analysis of your restoration zone of interest. So it's just a short demonstration, and I let my colleague Stefano to discuss about how we use IPA to upload large initiative in the platform. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gregory. I just realized that we were also hoping to receive some remarks from ACB colleagues. So maybe quickly, yes, Isa, you want to come in? Apologies, this should have happened before Gregory's presentation. Thanks. Isa, are you there? If not, we can move to Stefano's presentation, and we can hear from ECB colleagues after that. Thank you. Yes, Stefano, the floor is yours.
Okay, thanks. Can you show my next slide, please? Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stefano Giaccio, and I will discuss and show you how the FERM API can be used to upload national registration data programmatically, which means in a systematic way by using a script and not by manual entry. I think we have a mixed audience today, so if you have IT background, you will get an idea and a fully understanding on how to use the API to enter national data from your national database. Otherwise, you will have the basics of what the API is and what to ask your IT colleagues. Next slide, please. So what we'll talk about today, first we will explain, clarify what an API is and why FERM offers one, especially in the context of national reporting. Then we will look at the required data format, which in our case is GeoJSON, and the key fields that are required to be in the JSON. After that, I will go through a live demo to show how to create a project through the API, including authentication and validation. And finally, we will go through the documentation, sample files, and support resources, so you can continue working on this right after the session, hopefully. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's first of all clarify what an API actually is. API stands for Application Programming Interface. In simple terms, it's just a structured way for one computer system to talk to another one. So instead of humans clicking buttons and typing on a keyboard, you have a program that sends a message to our server and gets a message back. There is a common analogy, which is the one with the restaurant, and I try to use that. So in the analogy, your national database or your system in general is the customer, while the API is the waiter, and the FERM is the kitchen. So the customer gives an order, the waiter takes it to the kitchen, and the kitchen prepares the dish and sends it back through the waiter. But in more technical terms, this is what happens. The system, I mean, your national database, sends the request in a defined format that I will show later, including what you are asking for and your credentials. The API forwards the request to the FERM server. The server handles the request and returns a response, which is, it can be either a confirmation that the process went well together with the data, or an error explaining what went wrong, in case you didn't format the data properly or some fields are missing. So conceptually, it's the same pattern. You send a request, the server handles the request and sends back a response. Next slide, please. So now that we covered in general what is an API, let's see why FERM offers one. It's mainly to support scale and integration. This is because the web interface that Gregory showed earlier works very well for a small number of initiatives. I would say up to 10, 12 projects that can be entered manually. But but many countries already have a restoration database with dozens or hundreds of initiatives. And in that case, the web interface is not a proper way to handle this data, because it would be very slow and prone to manual errors. So the API allows those databases to connect directly to FERM. So you prepare the data once on your database in the correct format and send it programmatically with a script. And this improves consistency. It can accelerate reporting, and of course, reduces manual work. It's important to notice anyway that the API doesn't replace the web interface, because both approaches can coexist. The web interface is very useful if you have small datasets, like 1 or 2 initiatives, while the API is designed for automation and big volumes. Next slide, please. So let's see briefly how the API works. The process is divided conceptually in 4 steps. First of all, you need to authenticate to tell FERM who you are or what your institution is. So FERM knows if you are allowed to enter or not to enter data. Second is actually sending the data. You send a POST request. We will see that in a live demonstration. And in the body of that request is the GeoJSON containing the initiative data and geographical features. Third, there is a validation from the FERM side. The FERM system checks what you sent against a schema, making sure that the required fields are there and the coordinates are correct and you have the right permissions. And if something is missing or is not correct, it will stop. If everything is valid, it will send a response with the data and a confirmation that the process went well, which technically is a 201 code, HTTP code. Otherwise, it sends you an error code explaining what the problem was. When you enter the data both manually and through the API, the status of the data is draft. So it will still require manual human intervention for data quality assurance. This is a design choice. We might have done it differently and it might change in the future, but for now, you still need human intervention for that, for data quality control. Next slide, please. Okay, let's go a bit deeper into the data format. The data format we choose for the API is GeoJSON because it fits quite well with our data model. If you're familiar with JSON, GeoJSON is simply a text-based format for geographical data. It combines JSON, which stores the structured information, together with the geometry that represents the location on a map. In our specific case, we use a feature collection. You can think about it as a folder. The folder contains at the top level the project level properties such as title, contacts, and organizations, institutions. Inside that folder, you have 1 or more features that represent restoration sites. Each feature has a geometry, which is can be a polygon or a point or a line, and the related properties that are site name, area, activities in that area, and so on. So you can see that the data is properly structured in a tree structure, nested structure. The geometry, if in case you don't have any geographical information, can also be absent. So you only send textual properties, not the geographical one. So it's quite flexible. We do provide some sample files through the API that you can use as a starting point to implement your script, your automated script. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, next we'll have a live demo. We will show how to do a health check to verify that the API is running, explore the documentation. We use the Swagger. We can download a sample I told you about and examine which are the required fields. We will create a project through the API. And we will verify that the project was created through a GET request And we will show the error handling if we have time. Okay, so let me share my screen. So I will go through the live presentation. This is the window. It should be this one. Okay, can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. So this is the user interface that Gregory showed you earlier. I don't have. I created an institution for this webinar, which is called webinar, and there is no initiative in the institution now. So we are going to insert a new initiative through the API. This is a sample initiative that I was about to create to show you that the fields in the JSON correspond to actual fields in the user interface. So there is a one-to-one match between the two. And I prepared some Postman pages to show to make it quicker, I would say, because I also prepared a terminal in case we have time to show how to insert command from a terminal. But okay, let's start. First of all, I hope you can see it's not too small, but this is the request to the API. This is the API endpoint, ferm.fao.org/API. And this is a public endpoint that sends you links to two sample datasets that you can use as a starting point. And it's also to show that hopefully the API is there and is responding. So if I send this request, okay, good, it's working, and I get URL to two different sample GeoJSONs. Let's okay, there is a basic one which contains only the required fields, and there is also a complete one that contains all the fields that are can be inserted into FERM through the API. Let's try to get the simple one, the basic one, and see the structure of the basic example. So in this moment, I'm interacting with the API. So I'm not using the user interface to view the data, but I'm using the API, which is the same thing. The difference is that here you can manually you can insert data on a form, and here you need a system to compile this data. In theory, you can also do this, but it's not a good way because you have to edit the GeoJSON. So it's only meant for systems to communicate with each other. So you can see that you have a feature collection, which is a GeoJSON element. Inside you have the institution ID, which must be the institution, your institution. And I will show you that you need a API key to do that. The title must be there, starting year, the restoration types, the point of contact, and organizations. Those are the mandatory fields. And then you have the geographical data. The geometry is a polygon. This is the restoration site. You can see that there are coordinates. And the properties of that particular site. Only the site name is mandatory at this moment. We will improve the quality control, by the way. So up to now, we used two endpoints, two API endpoints that don't need authentication. To create an initiative, you need to have an API key. To get an API key, you need to go to the FERM. Actually, I cannot do that now, I think. Yes, I can do that. So there is a page in the administrative center where you can ask for an API. just clicking on this button, you will be shown an API key that you will have to use in every request as a HTTP header to be able to insert new initiatives. So let's go. Let's create actually a new initiative. You can see that now there is a real institution ID, which is the ID of this institution, and there is a way to see that to see which is the ID from. I will show you later if we have time. Anyway, you need this ID that you can get from the system. You put all the mandatory fields that we saw earlier together with the polygon and the site name. So let's go on and send this request and have a look at the response. Okay, so this is a good sign. When success equals true, means that the request went well. This is the data ID. Every single initiative has a data ID to identify it from the other ones. So metadata, timestamp, and request ID that you can use in case something goes wrong to ask the support team to support. Let's have a look now, if we are lucky, on the web interface. Oh, no, there is Afghanistan. I have two initiatives. One is the one I was inserting here, demo initiative. I was inserting it manually. And the other one is the one that I just inserted to through the API. So you can see that this field, the title is the one that we, where is it? Title, Demo Webinar Project. No, sorry, it's the API key, and so on. Starting year 2005, this is the restoration types, ecological restoration, the objectives, which were not there, and the point of contact, and the organization. Let me show that, for example, here you have restoration types, ecological restoration, while, let me see, restoration types. I cannot find it. Where is it? Yeah, you have to use IDs. There is a vocabulary that you can use to match IDs with the proper label, and you need to reference to that. So now that we inserted the initiative, let's get that initiative from the API. I have a URL already here, is API projects, and you need to put the project ID in the URL. We can get the project ID from the response here. This is the one. So in the get initiative, I need to put the project ID here. If I send a request, I get the same data that I inserted with the proper title, institution ID, organization, and so on. What I wanted to show you is that, as I told you earlier, the status, it's hard to find. The status is draft. Now I can, status is draft. So initiatives are not automatically published from the API, but they start from a draft status. So there is still the process of quality control by humans. Yeah, that's it. There are two more endpoints that I wanted to show you. One is a public one to get the public initiatives. You can filter by country and many other filters that I don't remember. Countries, limit, offset, you can have a free text search, source, restoration status, and so on. So it's quite complete. And you get a set of initiative as a result. If you want to have a CSV file that you can use on Excel, for example. You can add this download through parameters in the API. It should appear here. And you get a CSV. So you can directly use it on Excel or any other platform that you might have. Lastly, let's go through a request that doesn't have enough information and see what happens. Here we only have the institution ID and title. So let's send a create request and see what happens. So we get an error. The message is invalid project payload. And here you have all the validation errors that the system generated. So title must be at least 3 characters, and while we have 2. Starting year is not there. Points of contacts are not there. Organization. So you see, in case there is an error, you don't just get an error message. You get a detail of all the problems that the API encountered. So I hope this was clear enough, but there will be a question and answer sessions later. So let me try to stop my screen sharing, or if someone can do it for me, because I don't know how to do it. Maybe Alicia, can you stop my screen sharing? Okay. Okay, thanks. So we have 2 more slides and then question and answer. So if you can go to next slide, please. Okay, so let's go through the manual versus API upload. So both, as I said earlier, both approaches are valid. The manual web interface works well with a limited number of initiatives because it's simple, visual, and requires no technical setup and no technical, in terms of IT, no technical capacity. But when you have hundreds of restoration initiatives, manual entry becomes too slow, so you need the API, which allows bulk uploads through scripts that you will need to write your site. It ensures consistency because every submission goes through the same validation process. And if you update your database regularly, you don't need to re-enter data manually, but you can just rerun the script. So as I say before, both approaches are valid. You just have to choose one or the other depending on your use case. Next slide, please. So these are the resources. I think the FERM API is not there. The FERM URL is not there. It's just ferm.fafo.org. Sorry, it's my mistake. Link to the sample files. I didn't show the Swagger user interface, but it's basically a documentation of the API, showing all the required fields or all the formats of all the requests that you can send. And there is the support email in case you encounter any error using the API or the user interface. So I'm done with my presentation. I think I'm slightly ahead of time, but it's good because we have time for questions and answers. So Alicia, I'm done.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Stefano. That was super, really helpful and very great to have this very practical demonstration. So yes, so now we are opening the floor up for questions. So you can, yes, please raise your hands, and you can also use the chat. But yeah, maybe better to raise your hand and ask your questions. Thank you.
Hi, Alice. We received a question from the chat box from Circuit Alderan. Circuit?
Yes.
Yeah, hello. Good afternoon from there you go. Okay, so yeah. Good afternoon from Bali, Indonesia. So I have a quick question about Stefano's presentation regarding the API key. So my question is will FAO or the firm team will provide a unique API key for each targeted institution, or user can request directly, like for example, through emails and request a unique API or token?
The API key is actually at the moment is at the user level, and you need to be an institution administrator to request one. We have different roles inside the institution as administrator and editor. So editors cannot request API keys, only administrators. But I mean, for each institution, there is one or more administrators. So in practice, it's also at the institution level. You just have to request it as an administrator. The point is that when you insert data, the creator is the administrator. But it can change in the future. We can have an API key at the institution level. It's a work in progress, the API. So we are open to suggestions.
Great, thanks. One more question. For your demonstration, you used the Postman software. What other software would you recommend for non-technical users to process the raw data, the JSON data file?
But you can use the terminal is not appropriate. Yeah, Postman is already quite technical. For non-technical users, I would actually recommend the user interface because it's the simplest. Otherwise, editing a JSON manually, by experience, because I did few trainings with that, and it's actually very error prone. So you forget a comma and nothing works. So for a non-technical user, I would recommend the FERM user interface. Otherwise, I guess that Postman is the best, is the easiest one. And I would say that the actual use of the API is to create a script that automatically gets data from your database and creates the JSON. I hope that answers.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Thank you, Stefano. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Just checking if there are more questions.
Hi, Alice. We received a request from the chat box for a copy of the presentations.
Yes, absolutely. Those will be provided along with the recording of this session, yes, by email. Thank you.
Apparently, there is no more question.
No more questions. Okay. Please also be reminded that you can always get in touch with us and yeah, really feel free to reach out to other, yeah, first of all, the ACB Target 2 help desk, which is now active, so you can send your questions to the email address that has been provided, and then yeah, FAO colleagues are also available at any time. So, okay, so if, yeah, maybe a last chance to ask any final questions. Oh yes, and there is also another, yes, so that's the email address too, also for asking questions regarding this webinar. I think we also have a feedback form for this webinar. Yes, perfect. So please, yes, that would be really important for us if you could take a few minutes to, if you can scan this QR code and fill out the feedback, because yeah, it's very important for us as this is an ongoing process to then improve the yeah, the structure and the content of the training. Okay, so if there aren't other questions, I will. I think we now have some. Sorry, yes.
Alice, we have there are two questions in the chat. One from Ratna Wingit.
Oh, thank you. Okay, yes, please. If Ratna Wingit, if you want to come in, please.
Hello, Alice and Stefano. I want to ask about is it feasible for the system that you use for the corporate social responsibility program? We have a program focused on ecosystem restoration, terrestrial and marine environment. Thank you.
It is a question for Gregory, Alice, or Elena.
I don't quite understand the question.
Yes, please. Would it be possible for you to repeat the question? Thank you.
Ratna, thanks for your question. I can come in here. I mean, I think that we don't have experience with monitoring and evaluation of corporate social responsibility. I'm not sure of the requirements for this. So I think right now we don't have a good answer for you for this question. I think that's something, you know, that we can look at, and we also welcome you to check the FERM platform to see if this aligns with the requirements that you have, and if it could be potentially utilized. Please get back to us if in case it can. It's something that I think that's a really interesting and practical application. I saw someone had their hand up.
Hi, Elena. It's us, ACB.
Yeah.
Hello.
It's Ratna. This is Monina from the ASEAN Center for Biodiversity.
Hammer.
Yeah, we recognize that in each ASEAN member states there are ongoing restoration initiatives, and we recognize those, and we highly suggest that you submit it to their national focal point, to the Ministry of Environment or to the Ministry of Forestry, so we could recognize them and also include them to the FERM registry. Is that a good answer? So yeah, I suggest you submit it to your national focal, and then or also you can email us through the help desk, and then we can help you coordinate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Elena and Isa, for your answers.
We have an additional question from Edison Recio. Yeah, I think Edison has you can speak if you would like to say your question. We also see it here in the chat. Perhaps
Yes,
I can read Edison's question. Oh, you can see it, Alicia.
I can see now, sorry. Yes, thank you. So it's asking whether we could provide some guidance or an introductory overview because he's a community development worker in the Philippines. So we'll be interested to see how to apply these initiatives in the communities he's working in. So in terms of the introductory overview, probably something like an introduction on the FERM. That's something we can definitely provide from the FAO side. I don't know if you had more specific questions, Edison, in terms of the presentation related to from Stefano. Yelena, you want to come in?
Yes. Yeah, thanks, Alice, and thank you, Edison, for the question. Yeah, we understand this. This webinar has been very technical at an advanced level on, how for developers and how to move data from national systems into the FERM. We do have plenty of introductory materials available. We've developed an e-learning, which provides an overview of the fundamentals of restoration. It provides a section on the FERM. And so I'll share a link in the chat now to the e-learning. And this e-learning accompanies the Target 2 resource guide, which goes into detail into these concepts and provides links to many other resources for restoration monitoring. We also, in terms of resources, we have a FERM user manual and YouTube videos, which provide an introduction to the platform. And if I think you mentioned you're in the Philippines, so we also, if you have any further questions, we encourage you to reach out to the ACB help desk, which is there on the screen and in the chat. Thank you.
I wanted to add something to my presentation that maybe I didn't say clearly. To use the API, you really need IT expertise on your side. For West Africa, there is a consultant that is sorry, no, for Latin America, there is a consultant that is working together with countries and helping them to implement the interface between their system and the API. There might be more from our side helping countries in case they don't have a national capacity to develop the API. So yeah, but the point is that for using the API, you need some IT people to develop a script or a routine that periodically pushes your data into FERM. Sorry, maybe it wasn't very clear from the start.
Hello? Yes. There is a hand. Someone from ACB, please come in.
Yeah. Thank you,
Thank you.
Stefano. Yeah, thank you, Alice. Regarding, because API is a very technical thing. So is it possible for FAO or for Stefano to have a pre-selected or customized API so that users can just download the parameters and use that. For instance, because you mentioned you need an IT for coding the script, so maybe it's a good thing to have that, maybe an example code, a complete code on how to use the API, so that user will be able to get that information easily.
Yes, I would say that the coding requires two different parts. One is the parts towards FERM, and that can be generalized because, and we can provide examples, because FERM side is a standard, is the GeoJSON that I was showing you. Can you hear me? Sorry,
Yeah,
can you hear me?
it's clear. Yeah.
Okay. But then there is the national database side that it really depends on how you structure the data and where you store it. It might be a geographical database, it might be a set of files, it might be an Excel file, and that part cannot be generalized. So we cannot provide example of that part. That is what needs to be developed on your side. But we can provide help for what's possible from our side. Or yeah, you can hire a consultant. It's not rocket science, in fact. It's just getting the data from the database and formatting in a proper way. So you don't need highly specialized IT people to do that.
Thanks. Thanks for the clarification. And of course, that's the reason why we developed the help desk. And then ACB will always be here to technically support, especially the API. Thanks.
Just one additional thing, not about the APA, but about the manual registration. It is also important to mention that we support country for the manual registration of initiative in FERM. So if you need some support for your manual registration of your initiative in FERM, just email us and we could provide support. We could have technical meeting or step-by-step manual registration of initiative in FERM, in complementary to the IPA.
Thank you, Gregory. I can see there is a question whether there will be any e-certificates. I don't think we will. There would be any certificate after this particular webinar. But Elena, you want to come in? Yes.
Yeah, just to come in. No, Alicia, you're right. Exactly. No, there's no, after this webinar, there's no e-certificate, but there is a certificate for the e-learning that I've shared in the chat, and we welcome everyone, especially if this topic is new to you or the firm is new to you. We encourage you to have a look at the e-learning, and there is a certificate for completing that. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Elena. Okay, so I think we can now move to our closing remarks. And I also wanted to recognize our colleagues from the Regional Center for Mapping of Resources for Development here, and they are supporting countries from East Africa and East and Southern Africa. So yes, so we can, I can now yes, give the floor to ACB colleagues and then to our CMRD colleagues, please. I think we have Mr. Jerome for ACB. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, Yelena, thank you so much. I will be the one. Sorry, this will be an impromptu closing remark. So, okay, so okay, so thank you once again to all our participants for your active engagement in today's webinar. It is a very technical webinar. We hope this session on using the application programming interface or API to upload national databases to the firm has provided you with practical guidance to strengthen your capacity in Target 2 monitoring and reporting. The ASEAN Center for Biodiversity, or ACB, remains committed to supporting our country constituents in achieving the goals of the KMGBF, or the Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. This webinar series is part of the Target 2 Help Desk initiative. It is designed to provide essential technical backstopping and firm-related assistance as you approach the submission of the 7th national reports to the Convention on Biological Diversity, or the CBD. And furthermore, we also put the help desk email address in the chat box so that you may also be aware of the help desk. And your continued commitment to scaling up ecosystems restoration efforts is vital for enhanced biodiversity conservation across the region. And lastly, we wish you all a successful implementation of the FERM tool, and have a productive day. And once again, on behalf of ACB and FAO, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Christian and Lauren. I think we now will hear from Christopher from CMRD. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Alicia. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, very well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alicia and FAO for organizing this. My name is Christopher Amudavi from the Regional Center for Mapping of Resources for Development. I would like to thank everyone for participating in this webinar. And today's session has been very much timely since we are approaching the deadline for national reporting, and we were privileged to host a sub-regional workshop a few weeks ago on that was focusing on Target 2, and through the engagement with countries, we realized that data is a bit scattered in different agencies within countries. Some countries have their national systems for organizing data, and this integration into the FERM has been timely to enable the countries at least integrate their data directly into FERM, and therefore help them with the easy reporting to the CBD. So FERM with the geospatial platform and also the registry of restoration initiatives also plays a central role as an official monitoring platform for tracking global progress and also sharing good practices and supporting countries towards Target 2 of the Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework reporting. So strengthening the capacity of countries to use this platform is is essential for demonstrating progress and also scaling up of ecosystem restoration efforts in our countries. So as a technical support center for Eastern and Southern Africa, we remain committed to supporting countries affiliated to us in enhancing their technical capacities and also ensuring that restoration efforts are visible, measurable, and also aligned with the global biodiversity goals. The attendance of this webinar has been good, and I've been encouraged by the huge attendance and the interest shown by the participants, especially the questions that are being asked So I hope that this session has equipped everyone with practical knowledge and greater confidence in leveraging the FERM API to improve reporting and coordination within your countries. I understand that today's session has been more technical, and it requires those who have good knowledge, especially in IT. But again, just to reiterate what Yelena has said, and Gregory and the other colleagues from SCB, FAO has training materials and also an e-learning platform on FERM. So that will be good for everyone else who is not an IT, who doesn't want or who is not comfortable with the codes that you've just seen. So thank you once again for your time and commitment. And I look forward to further engagements in this journey of implementing the 23 targets of the KMGBF. Thank you, FAO, and thank you, everyone else.
Thank you so much, Christopher. And yes, a big thank you from me as well. And yes, as Elena said, it's really great to see so many participants joining. And yes, so I just wanted to remind you about this feedback form, please. And also to let you know that the ACB is encouraging everyone to join their initiative, the Asian Green Initiative, which aims to plant at least 10 million native trees across the Asian member states over 10 years. So yes, a call from ACB to join this important initiative for planting and nurturing the seeds of conservation. Yes, there is also here the QR code in this slide to learn more about the AGI and to learn about the guidelines. Okay. So yes, so I think we can now close, and yes, have a good evening and a good rest of the day, colleagues, and yes, let's stay in touch. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Yeah.